Jai Mata. The whole of the creation is sustained in the male and the female creation of human life, as well as in all the species of the animal kingdom as well. It is this principle of male and the principle of a female is considered in divinity as the male principle and the female principle. And the polarity of life, more so the human life, is called as the interpolation of the male and the female principles. Here, the male principle is Shiva and the female principle is Shakti. These two principles combine together in this as universal energy, and universal energy depletes and denotes to balance. It depletes to balance and increases the potency to set right, in effect, the male and the female principle. That is why every 5 years once you have the male principle ahead, and the next 5 years you have the female principle ahead. That's why you find a lot of males being born, a lot of females being born, and the polarity is neutral. Then you feel or you find a lot of male and females being born, both in the human life as well as in the female of an animal as well as the male of an animal. And this was the creation, how God performed its creation. With this creation in mind, God also formed the gene effect in a human as well as in animals. It was Shiva and Shakti interpolated in both the animal and the human species as well as the divine principle. That is why the divine energy predominates in the male and the female Shaktis as well. The male principle is called as Shiva and the female principle is called as Shakti. And likewise, if a human being, like all of us, has to attain that kind of an enlightenment, then we have to neutralize these two elements, the human male principle and the female principle, and then we combine together to form the divine principle called as Godhead, thereby aligning ourselves as human beings to Godhead. So, when we align as humans to Godhead, then we also follow a certain principle, and this principle is called as a philosophy. It can be what we call as Dvaita, Advaita, or Visishtadvaita in the cosmology of divinity. So when you understand this, then enlightenment begins. Till a human being understands these basic three principles, we don't get enlightened. And for these components of human beings to understand the divine component of divinity, then we should have compassion. Compassion leads to pardon and mercy. And enlightenment brings in to mercy, and mercy from compassion leads to the female principle, and that male principle is consolidated in that genes as a kind of a bonding that means lot of vitality and energy. When the vitality becomes very compassionate, then it denotes a feminine energy. When it denotes compassion, then it denotes what we call it a female energy, and a kind of a male principle is predominant with energy in the form of vitality. So you find the male principle and the female principle more with mercy and compassion, and the male principle is with energy and vitality. So you have these two godheads of Shiva as a male principle and Shakti as the female principle. And likewise, you have different sets or specific sets of mantras where you understand both these, because these two are predominant in a female as well as a male, and this is more predominant in that kind of a bonding in a double helix bond of genealogy, or genes have a double helix bond. Earlier, scientists understood only a single bond. Then finally they understood, as the evolution progress started, they also understood genealogy is a double helix bond. And likewise, with this kind of a double helix bond in the system, from 3 or 4 decades, they understood how the energy systems work in human beings. Even the old rishis, or the rishis of the yore, from good olden days, they understood all this through intuition, by concentrating on their own inner world of meditation. They aligned themselves, body, mind and soul, through meditation, aligning themselves in all the systems. They wanted all the systems to be spick and span in themselves. They used sun as sunlight, and they used the nature as nature itself. They found out all these systems because they found sun is the main principle of life. Without light, there cannot be life. And without life, there cannot be light. They interpolated the same systems once again. They refixed themselves in that light and energy, and they decided they should also introduce the component of heat. And heat, energy, and light is the basic principle of creation. So when you close your eyes, you see so much of divine light inside. And this divine light is called as wisdom. So when I say, you look at the divine light within yourself, and that divine light is nothing other than wisdom which is inside. The wisdom reflects. The wisdom reflects from each and every cell of your body. And because each and every cell corresponds with that element of wisdom in each and every gene of your being. That is how wisdom flows into you. Each and every gene of your cell is laced with a kind of clarity, and this clarity in a gene is called as wisdom or the intelligence of a gene. Your gene is extremely intelligent, and rishis have found out that each and every cell of your body has got that kind of a wisdom, whether you want it or whether you don't want it. Your reflexes, everything in your body works only through clarity, and clarity comes only from wisdom in your gene. And the brain cells, more than 1 billion cells, are activated to give you total freedom of wisdom, or wisdom in this process of enlightenment in your life. To understand wisdom, you have to take care of these belief systems. The belief system that as a male, what you should do, as a female, what you should do. ಮನುಷ್ಯನ ಧರ್ಮ ಗಂಡಸಾಗಿ ಹುಟ್ಟಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಅಥವಾ ಹೆಂಗಸಾಗಿ ಹುಟ್ಟಿದರೆ ಏನು ಆ ಧರ್ಮಗಳನ್ನ ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಕ್ಲಾರಿಟಿ ಸಿಗತ್ತೆ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟತನ. ಕ್ಲಾರಿಟಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟತನ ಸಿಗತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟತನ ಬಂದಾಗಲೇ ಯು ಆರ್ ಆನ್ ದ ವೇ ಟು ಎನ್ಲೈಟನ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ವಿತ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಲೇಸ್ಡ್ ವಿತ್ that kind of mercy. You have to be merciful. It is not a Christian word. It is a word for you to understand the clarity of your attitude. Your attitude should be filled with this kind of a clarity. As a female, what I should do. As a male, what I should do. That is why we are all together as a family. That is very important. You understand? Only then, when you understand your basic level of why you are born as a female, why you are born as a male, then only you will understand what is enlightenment. As a female, you should have compassion. And out of compassion, you should have that kind of mercy to all other beings in your life. Daye, dakshinya, daye. Mercy andre daye. Dayo bhavane irbeku. Dayada bhavane irbeku. Daye ille idre enlightenment is that bit far. That is why Daya is called as in mercy in English. Your genes should be more compassionate Because you to have clarity about your own being and about God's being. You should have clarity. ನಿಮಗೆ ಕರುಣೆ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಕರುಣೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಆ ಕ್ಲಾರಿಟಿ ಸಿಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ವೆನ್ ಯು ಡೋಂಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಕರುಣ, ಯು ಬಿಕಮ್, ಇನ್ಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಬಿಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ಲೆಸ್, ಅದನ್ನು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಸೆಲ್ಫಿಶ್ ಆಗಿ ಇರ್ತೀರಾ. ಯು ಶುಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಬಿ ಸೆಲ್ಫಿಶ್. ಟು ಗೆಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾರಿಟಿ, you should not be selfish in life. That is very important. This sadhana is to understand how you are made and what is your dharma, what is your duty. If you are a female, what is your duty is. And as a male, what should be your duty in this world? You should be filled with mercy, compassion, and you should be filled with that kind of vigilance, intelligence. Then you will know how to act, how to talk, how not to think unnecessarily, and how to understand ourselves, and not only that, how to make other people understand ourselves to the rest of the world. All right? Good. Jai Mata. ಒಳ್ಳೆಯದಾಗಲಿ.